Thank you so much for that, Skip. And Amy, thank you for your lovely comments as well. And thank all of you for coming out tonight. I mean, about a month ago when we were planning this launch, Amy and I were at the bistro and we were talking about what this could be. And I remember saying, do you think, it was about a month out, so I remember saying, do you think that we can get 50 people in 3 weeks? And the fact that we got over 100 in 3 hours just really speaks to how much you guys love free wine. I'm kidding. It speaks to how important our careers are to the quality of our lives. And I've been asked many times how I got started writing about this topic. And up until this very moment, I've always said that it was the lessons that I learned from Skip. And that's true, because I meant what I said in the dedication, Skip. If everyone built women leaders the way that you do, there would be no need for this book. But there's actually more to this story, and there's other career lessons that I have learned here that absolutely set the stage for the book that we're celebrating tonight. And these are lessons that I have learned from my family. And since I'm in my hometown and my family is all here, I wanted to share a couple of those lessons with you tonight. My dad is here. Say hello. Many of you know that I was raised by my dad, but not very many of you know that my dad is somewhat of an artist at heart and would have probably preferred to have had a career behind a drum set than a desk, where he spent the bulk of his career. And even though he doesn't talk about his work much, there was something that he said to me about 15 years ago that I have never forgotten. He said, "Emily, I take my lunch every day at 1 o'clock. And the reason why is because I know if I can just make it to 1, when I come back at 2, then the time from 2 to 5 isn't that bad." And he was kidding and I laughed, but at the time I remember being really impacted by that, because even though I was in college, I remember thinking, gosh, a career could be so much more, and I just really wish that I had the words at the time to help him find joy in his career. And I was in college and I was working at Chili's, and so no one was taking career advice from me at that point. But these days I really feel like I have the combination to that lock. I know now that rewarding work, the kind that we all strive for but seems so elusive, is at the intersection between liking what you do and knowing that what you do helps someone else. And it could be one person in the way that Skip helped me, and it could be thousands of people the way that College Summit helps your students. But I do know that being of service is the magic formula to fulfillment, and you don't get it by adjusting your lunch, you get it by adjusting your life. Until you get that perspective right. But I'm really proud to say that my dad figured that out in his own way, because he is a collections representative for a bank. And so what that means is that, we have some bankers here in the audience, but what that means is that if you take a loan from the bank and you default on it, he's on the other end of the phone. But he gets thank you notes from people, and I can't think, when I think about who I would want to send a thank you note to, a collections representative really is not at the top of that list. But he cared. He saw himself being in service to, I hope I'm not busting you out here, Dad, but I think that in some ways he saw himself as being more in service to the people that were on the other end of the line than to the bank itself, and they picked up on that. And because he cared about his customers, the job was more fulfilling to him. And so that's ultimately a lesson for me.